Hi, gang. I am here with the co-founder and CEO of Merrill Research, which is a custom full-service, multi-dimensional firm that manages, how do you release products to the market? And organizations hire him and his wonderful strategic consultants on communications, and they've been doing that since 1986. Another piece of our next guest business background is basically he is the founder and CEO of a related organization, Merrill Institute. The Merrill Institute for Nonverbal Intelligence. So that's the body language certificate, training, and that was founded in 2016. This is my dear friend, good guy, David Schneer. Welcome, Dave.
Linda, thank you for having me back. This is awesome. It's great to see you.
Great to see you. And Dave, one of the things that you and I were talking about is preparation for negotiation or any big conversation you're having. David, I have always told people you want to write it down. You want to know what's going on in your negotiation. Stop just thinking about the WIIF me, what's in it for me, that radio dial. We're all playing that in our heads, WIIFM, what's in it for Linda, what's in it for Dave. But instead you want to turn that radio down a little bit to what's in it for them. So, what might somebody else be thinking? What might they want? But you said there's more to preparing for a negotiation than just thinking about the other side. You say you want to really think about how you show up, what your body language says, and maybe what you're looking for. So can you tell us, how would we prepare for a meeting to show up powerfully and have our body language show that as well?
Sure. And you said something earlier that my research antenna caught, and that was writing things down. And that is one of the greatest ways to prepare. In fact, I just got done finishing a study for a client who has products in the educational sector that had been completely transformed by the pandemic. And a lot of the kids had gone to using digital platforms, and their grades suffered as a result of not having physical pieces of paper on which they could write things down, because we think that the research indicates that when you write something down, that you retain it better.
I sure do. I sure do.
That, if I showed you one of my discussion guides, before I go into any group, I write down every question. But to answer your question, you really have to know a lot about the person that you're going to sit down with. Do as much work as you can. There's tons of information on LinkedIn about people. Take the time to see what they've done. Take the time to see what they're doing. Take the time to learn about something they're doing that's interesting, that's not related to the thing you're talking to, so that you have something to talk about, because ultimately you want them to like you, right?
Right.
You want them to trust you, and you want them to feel comfortable. Okay?
And does that come across in your body language if you know something about them? Do you subconsciously, do you show you're a little more comfortable with them if you know about them?
Well, sure. Absolutely. Let's say you're meeting with a Islamic woman. You're not going to be able to shake hands with her, right? So how do you shake hands with her? So doing your homework about the cultural aspects of somebody is huge.
So what would you do in that case?
Oh, that happened. That actually happened to me. That's why I like to bring it up, because it was almost a disaster. I was doing focus groups in San Francisco and I always have my respondents and participants come into the room, and pre-COVID, I would shake their hands just to welcome them. And I'd line them up like at a wedding party, and have them come in and shake their hand. And one woman came in with a hijab, and I reached out. She recoiled back, and at that point, I could have recoiled.
Sure.
And said, ew, but I remembered, oh, gee, and I said, I'm so sorry. I know that you can't shake my hand. Tell me how should I greet you? And she just lit up and she said like this.
Oh,
And
that's
so,
great.
so I went like this and she went like this. And I could not keep her quiet for the rest of the group.
That's
Just
great.
that, and how to shake hands.
No, that's great. And that I've seen that in many different cultures, many different religions. Women aren't allowed to shake hands with some men in different cultures, as well as, when I reach out my hand. I've seen that, and also with COVID. So many people now are, fist bumping, or you go, what do you want to do? And that's a good lesson, is maybe watch what the other person does. Now, you do say, though, if you're going to shake hands, you want to do it flawlessly. How do you do that?
Good question. And a lot of people, I don't think, really understand the significance of a proper handshake, because generally it's the first time that you're going to touch somebody, right? And handshakes are super cultural.
Mm-hmm.
A handshake in Utah is very different from a handshake in Brazil, from a handshake in Russia to a handshake in India.
So give us a couple of examples.
A handshake in parts of Utah that's called a Mormon handshake. It's super hearty.
Okay.
And so, in Brazil, you're likely to shake hands with a gentleman who will bring you into an abrazo.
Okay, so kind of pull you in, like the bro, we call it the bro handshake, or the girl, okay.
Yeah. In Italy, everybody's real up close and personal. In England,
kissing on either side, maybe, or
in England, not so much. So, just knowing that and preparing, but take the time, write it down, find out what their objectives are,
okay,
and see how you can meet them. And that's, I'm not an expert on strategizing for, negotiations. That's what you would do. And so sometimes it might be beneficial to have somebody like yourself leading in negotiation while somebody else is just observing, almost like a forensic.
Right, or a jury observer when they're jury selection expert.
Exactly.
If we can get one thing cleared up for everyone on this call, do not do this with handshakes unless you're doing it to everybody. A lot of women, it's like you're going to kiss our hand. We don't want that. We don't want this little pumping for, it's either pumping for oil or water or something, or you're going to kiss our hand. That's icky. Don't do that. And don't overpower. That's also icky. Don't. So I agree.
Here are the do's and don'ts. Number one is, and this is most important, is you mimic what you get.
Okay.
So if you get the dead fish, some people call that a limp handshake or the dead fish, then you give a dead fish.
Okay.
You don't grind in, you don't turn your hand over to be dominant, or you don't turn your hand up to be submissive. That's all BS. What you want to do is, again, make somebody feel comfortable when the first time you're touching them. Don't give them that politician's handshake,
All right.
Right? People hate that. Save that for your grandmother. And you mimic the handshake you get. You take a step in, and then you take a step out.
Okay. So it's like you're in, you're out. We're done with that one and moving on.
Yeah.
Nice.
And you should practice it, because it's not, people haven't done this all their lives, so it may take a little practice. You step in and you step out. Why do you do that? You step out because you want to gauge how close this person wants to get to you.
Okay.
Now, if you step back and they step forward, then you're good.
Okay.
You step back and they stay back. Stay back.
Leave alone. That's their personal space. Got it. Yeah. I'll say now, are we shaking hands or not? We fist bumping, now I've started doing that with people because of all the germs and everything else. And maybe that's been common in other cultures, and it hasn't been in ours. Yeah. Now, you also said, go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I do think we will get back to shaking hands in one form or another, because as humans, we need that touch. We really do. We yearn for it. Our whole proximity band, our whole spatial band of comfort has been shattered by COVID.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And so
Now you told me something that works with Zoom or whatever online program you've got and in person, and that's dress appropriately. How is that important on preparing? What would you say? Why is that good for body language in negotiation or any important meeting?
well, it's super critical because you're meeting somebody for the first time and you want to be properly groomed, because if you walk in there not taking care of yourself, they're going to wonder, how are you going to take care of my business? Same with your office, same with your environment, same with your appearance. Okay. You want to make sure, for example, that you're wearing pleasing colors. Blue is a color that over and over again in research studies has indicated that people who wear blue are more positively perceived.
Huh. I'd
People
heard
who
trusted.
yeah, they're more likable and more trusted and more pleasing
Okay.
color. No accident that I'm wearing blue. And people that wear brown, not so much. Okay.
Interesting.
You want to make sure that you're dressed to the level of your participant or the person you're going to be talking with.
Right.
So if you're going out and doing agricultural research and looking at technology in farms, you're not going out there in a 3-piece suit.
Right. And I do a lot of work with ag, and yeah, I dress up, but I don't dress in something that would be funny or silly or too. Yeah.
I don't think you'd be wearing that dress to the farm, I would think.
No, you never know. There might be boots on, but yes, that's correct. Right.
Well, you
right.
certainly got to wear the boots. And again, that's why you don't want to be able to see people's feet.
Got it. Okay. Now you gave me 2 other ideas. One was make sure that your company is sated. What does that mean?
It goes along with the comfort and discomfort paradigm.
Okay.
And I don't know if now's the time that you want to get into that, but it's a quick and easy way to determine the state of comfort that somebody is. And there's 2 axes. One axis is gravity, and the other axis is proxemics, where we were just talking about closeness. Okay. Now, when you are in a high state of comfort, you are in a gravity-defying position. So let's say you're a sports fan. You're an Aggie fan, right? Am I right?
No. Okay. So we're going to stop on that. And
Sorry,
Jill, Jill, we're going to do a cut here and take away from the sated, and we're going to seated, because I read it wrong. It's a sated, but it means seated. Okay. So we're going to start from here.
Wait. Sated what I meant by sated was satiated.
Okay. So, but then you were talking about different levels. Is that what you meant? Was that supposed to be? Okay. So that's.
I interjected a pretty complex thing.
So let's go from. So it's not satiated. You said sated means you're satisfied.
Right.
So that they're comfortable. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're the temperature that they have something to drink, that they have something to eat.
There we go. So let's do that. Okay.
All
right. So Joe, we're going to start from here.
All right.
So David, you also said make sure they're comfortable. So it's not just, make sure that you handshake or they don't handshake, and that, you make them feel comfortable with your dress and you're prepared, but you also said make them feel comfortable. What does that mean? Physically comfortable or what?
I mean, that's exactly what it means. It means that if you're meeting with somebody, that you, again, do your homework up front. So like when we invite clients to come observe our focus groups, we ask them, what do you like to drink? And they'll tell us, oh, Sprite or root beer. And so we'll go have the facilities buy all that stuff and pack it. So the clients are going to be sitting in the facility for hours. They're going to want their favorite stuff. Same principle here. Somebody comes to your office. Stand up and greet them, escort them someplace, your environment is super critical. You don't want to sit them behind a desk. You want to sit on a couch where you can mirror. And you want to ask them, what can I get you to drink? Are you hungry? Have some cookies and donuts and stuff. Because again, the whole idea is you want them to feel comfortable.
Right. And that's exactly, there's two trains of thought as an attorney. One is you make them very uncomfortable. You put them in the bright light. You have people passing by, so they're distracted. You ask them questions. You make them, hungry. and you'll see it in depositions or settlement conferences. And then you've got the opposite where, they'll call it the good old boy or good old gal. Oh, well, if I say something confusing, just interrupt me, and here's some cookies and here's some soft drinks. And I have definitely found somewhere in between. Be polite, don't be silly, but be polite, because people will tell you more.
Right.
They're more comfortable. And in my world, I don't pull off being a jerk very easy. So I guess if you pull off being a jerk well, then you put them in that bright light. But you are saying make them feel comfortable. If you want a concession, if you want them to tell you information, if you want them to feel comfortable giving you information physically, help them feel comfortable. Is that right?
Well, yeah. Nobody likes to work for or help a jerk. And I disagree with the heavy-handedness, although at one time I was pretty good at it. But there's other ways to get people to squirm in a seat without being condescending or forceful. For example, this is a classic technique. You're talking to someone and you want to ask them a sensitive question, like, where were you last night, Linda? And you ask it in a way that lacks emotion, and then you wait for the pregnant pause, but you use the pregnant pause for observation. A lot of reporters or journalists try and fill that pregnant pause in because it's uncomfortable. So use that. And to the trained observer, you will see people make honest assessments and relax and be more cooperative than if you try and beat them over the head.
That's terrific.
Plus, there's the Othello effect, which is what body language experts have called somebody who, when accused of lying, becomes super dramatic because it's so offensive and they look so guilty when they're not. But you got to be careful.
Got it. Okay, so David, if we wanted to find out more about your training about how to, get certified in nonverbal intelligence, what would we do? Where is a place we could connect with you?
You can connect with me on LinkedIn or my website, themerrillinstitute.com. We have organizational training. We have online training. We have in-person, half-day, full day. And for those who really want to take it a step further, we have certification. So you can be certified in microexpression practicing. Our training site also is a certification site. So it's a work at your own pace certification where you're taught all the microexpressions and how to read them. And then body language from the neck down is we do that via in-person or Zoom.
That's incredible. Thank you so much, David. So appreciate you. And we'll put all that in the link. And wow. Okay. So now I've got to look serious, but like I'm talking to you, like I'm being trustworthy, but not move around too much. So many things to remember. Oh my gosh. Go negotiate, my friends. Thanks again, David. And we will see you soon.
Thank you.